If you're not ready to go home, can I get a hell no? 'Cause we gonna go all night till we see the sunlight.
Hi, I'm Andi Metro, celebrity makeup artist.
And I'm Kristine, staff writer at Hollywood Life.
So we're gonna make you Miley today, huh?
I'm so excited.
Are you an actual Miley fan, or?
I am. I have a big reputation as a huge Miley fan. I'm a smiler.
So we're gonna make you an accurate Miley. We're not gonna make it too costumey. I wanna do it pretty accurate to what her actual look is. So Miley's look lends itself to her youthful look and age that she is right now. It's all based on her youthful skin. It's very dewy, it's very subdued. It doesn't really compete with her wild look that she has going on right now. So that's basically what we're gonna do on you today. It's basically comprised of a strong brow, really bright, natural eyes, and a bold lip. You can basically do your entire Miley look with items you have at home. What you'll need is 2 hair ties, some hairspray, a comb, and a couple bobby pins. So first we'll start with her part. You want to get the part right down the center. And you can use your pick comb to perfect your part. So if you're just freshly out of the shower, your hair will be a little damp, and that'll help your hair to look a little sleeker. But since we're not at home and we're not fresh out of the shower, I'm just going to use a water bottle to dampen her hair a little bit. And her little buns are right at the top of her head and kind of more forward, so with longer hair it's a little more of a challenge. So you're gonna grab one of your hair ties and make a your first ponytail. So I'm just gonna spray down her pony a little bit for extra hold. And at this point I'm just gonna start twisting and wrapping around the ponytail.
Which one looks better, the one with the shave or without?
Well, since we're being Miley, I'm gonna go with the shave side. So we're gonna start with skin. Miley's skin is really dewy and youthful and fresh looking, so moisture, moisture, moisture. I'm just gonna do an oil-free lotion, you probably have one at home, and just really massage it into the skin. I like using an oil-free one just because it'll probably help your makeup last a little longer. So normally if you're doing a heavy eye, you want to start with your eyes first, but since Miley's look is really minimal, we're going to go ahead and perfect her skin first. I'm using Kevyn Aucoin foundation, but you can use anything you have. And here we go. I'm going to start outside her nose using a foundation brush and then spread it outward. I always like to start in the center of the face and work my way outward into the hairline. And that way you avoid getting any harsh lines. So my next step is concealer. Any blemishes or discoloration in the face can use a little help. And I'm just gonna dabble it in any areas of the face that have that need a little extra help. One of my favorite tools and a big makeup artist secret is the Beauty Blender. It's an $18 sponge, but it's the best thing ever. It helps blend makeup quickly, seamlessly, doesn't leave any streaks, and you can kind of see just that makeup blending right into the skin, looking more and more natural. So I always like to prime the eyes with an eye primer, but you can also use your concealer, the same one that I've used to correct any areas of the face that need a little extra help. This helps the eyeshadow to adhere and last longer. Eyeshadow's powder, so it could easily just wipe off or, dissipate with the oils of the skin. So I'm just spreading this across and creating an emollient surface for the eyeshadows to pack into. So I'm going to jump into eyeshadows. I'm just going to use a really light matte colored eyeshadow with a fluffy brush. And I'm just going to kind of swoosh this all over her lid. And I really like to concentrate most of the color in the corners of the eye and the peak of the eyebrow and the brow bone. Doing this also helps any other colors that I add to look more creamy and blend easier. And it just helps your makeup look more professional and makes the work easier for you. I'm gonna go ahead and switch colors and switch brushes to blending brush. It's a little bit fluffier, a little bit thicker. And this color is like 3 levels above her actual skin tone. It's just for a little contour. Like I said, Miley's look isn't very flashy or colorful. It's pretty neutral. So I'm just gonna plant my brush in the outer corner of her eye and start working my way in, doing circular motions, back and forth motions. I just want this look to be, or this color to appear seamless. You don't wanna know where it begins or ends. And the reason I have her eye open is because you want that contour to sit where her eye actually creases. So once I've kind of figured out where that is, I can have her close and really buff the color. You really want to buff out any harsh edges, but the strongest point should be the outer corner. This is a much more tapered brush. It's a little bit tighter. It applies color in a more dense way, and it's also small, so I can reach underneath the eye, which is a tight area. Look up for me, please. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of shading underneath her eye as well, so it doesn't look too stark or bare. I always do a little click to tap off any excess shadow. That way you avoid fallout, the little dusty particles that can fall into my perfectly even canvas that I've created. And you can just connect the corners. It also helps the eye to appear bigger. So I'm gonna switch brushes yet again. And this is more of a tapered brush, but in a flat sense, whereas the other one was kind of pencil shaped. And this one is to, if you don't mind holding this, give a little texture to the eye, because so far I've used all matte colors, but Miley does have like a little sparkle, a little sheen. So I'm gonna be intentional with my makeup and just dab the inner corners. And just like I did with the dark color, I'm doing the same. I want the brightest point to be in the middle, and then I just kind of blend out from there. And then I'm gonna do the same for the top corner, right under the brow and the brow bone. So for eyeliner, I'm gonna do a cream liner with an angle brush. I find that it's a lot easier to do, and it's a little more forgiving than other types of liner like pencil or liquid. I like to start with cream and then refine it with a liquid. I'm gonna start the line on the outside of the eye and work my way in. And as I reach the center of the eye, I go thinner and thinner. So Miley's look is really simple, but there's a lot of attention to detail. One of those details is a lot of lash. They're very like out and pointed up and happy, and so a big important part of this is curling your lashes. So use my eyelash curler and get those lashes really curly and pointed up. So I'm using my Miley mascara in black. Look down for me. And I'm gonna start at the root and start at the top and cover her lashes. You really want your lashes, especially when you're blonde, you want them to be very black. So you have to cover the tops and the bottom. So in addition to beautiful mascara, we need our false lashes just to get that look a little more closer to Miley. We're getting there quickly. So I'm using my Duo adhesive and just putting a thin layer on the band. I'm gonna pop these right on her lash line. Look down. I like to put lashes on with the eye open, because people tend to squint when they close their eyes, and then the lash kind of wrinkles up, and when they open, it pops off. So we're gonna move on to that strong Miley brow. I'm gonna start with a little eyebrow brush and just make sure her eyebrows are in place. And what I'm going to use is an eyeshadow powder. Basically, any brown eyeshadow will do. You want it to be a little bit on the darker side because Miley's brows are pretty intense these days. And then just an angle brush. I'm gonna dabble between like a medium brown and a dark brown. Just because she's so fair, you don't want it to look black. And I'm gonna start piecing in the brow in the front and work my way out. I'm gonna try and go for really clean, straight strokes because Miley's brow is very chiseled. Also, using shadow as opposed to pencil is way more forgiving. The waxiness of a pencil can look a little too harsh, and this tends to look a little more natural. And then you just want to taper off at the end. So now that our Miley eye is complete with bold brow and eyeliner and lashes, I'm going to move on to skin. I'm just going to set her skin with a translucent powder. This is the same powder that she would take with her to touch up in case she gets a little sweaty from twerking it. And just a little dab across the forehead, around the eyes, down the nose. My next step is contouring. When the skin is too flat and even, one color kind of makes it look a little too even, so we kind of need to give back the dimension. So I'm using a contour color by MAC called Bone Beige and a contouring brush, and I'm just kind of chiseling out her cheekbones again. A little bit in the temple and the hairline. And then just a touch in the cheek with what's left on the brush. And if your nose is a little wider than Miley's and you want to kind of manipulate the way the face looks, you can just go a little bit down the sides of the nose, a little bit underneath. Your nose isn't wider than Miley's, but it's just a makeup trick. And you can also contour the neck a tad too. Now I'm going to add just a touch of cheek color. This one is Margin by MAC. And it's just a light reflective peachy color. And I'm going to place that in the apples of the cheek as opposed to the contour area. So Miley's skin is really big on dewiness and that whole youthful glow. Pretty much in every video and picture she has this beautiful glow about her. So for this I'm going to use an Illuminator by Becca. And I'm just going to put a little dab on my foundation brush. And I'm going to use my hand as a palette and just hit the high planes of the face. And you can just see that glow pop. This is not something you want to put all over your face, because then you just look oily. So you want to avoid the center or any lower planes of the face. And you can do just a touch down the middle of the nose. And this is another opportunity to use your trusty beauty blender and just make sure that the lines are seamless. Alright, so now we're moving on to lips. I'm going to use a Kevyn Aucoin color. It's a red with a blue base. Miley's been doing a lot of red lips with this album, and it's always a little bit on the berry side. So now that her lip is fully filled in red, I'm just going to refine her outer lip line with some liner. And also, I'm just going to go slightly outside her lip line to make the appearance of a fuller upper lip. So if you want to follow me for tips, you can go to my Instagram, Andi Metro Makeup, or you can go to my website, andimetro.com.
You should tuck her out, y'all.
To party, dancing with